This past Tuesday, the Republican led House approved a budget blueprint that lays the groundwork for major federal spending cuts. Now, while the resolution doesn't specify which programs will be affected, Medicaid, which provides health coverage to 1 in 5 Americans, and most of them low income, well, Medicaid is expected to face intense scrutiny in the months ahead. Now, with so much uncertainty, it's critical. It's critical to understand how Medicaid works, who relies on it, and what could happen if funding is reduced. Hi, I'm Lou Reyes, and here on Over 50 TV, I bring you the news that matters most to older workers, retirees, and those folks who are planning their financial future. Now, today I'm going to break down what's happening with Medicaid. I'm going to talk about who it covers, how much it costs, and why it could be a target for potential budget cuts. Now, I want to make sure that I say this. I want to be clear. No one so far anyway, is saying there will be cuts to Medicaid. I'm going to repeat this. No one is saying there will be cuts to Medicaid. Today, what I'm doing is providing you with some important information because I believe you should know what's going on. Period. Now, if you or someone you love depends on Medicaid or might be depending on it in the near future, well, stick around because this is an issue you can't afford to ignore. And also, be sure to subscribe to Over 50 TV for more updates on Social Security, Medicare, and retirement planning. What is Medicaid and who does it cover? Well, Medicaid is a government health insurance program for low-income Americans, but it also helps certain middle-class, disabled, pregnant, and older adults. Now, it's funded by both states and the federal government. It was created 60 years ago under President Lyndon B. Johnson to ensure that the country's most vulnerable folks have access to health care. Today, 73 million adults and children rely on Medicaid for health coverage. Is Congress proposing cuts in Medicaid? Well, this is a big question. It's a very big question. Now, you probably heard it discussed on many news programs by reporters and pundits. It seems like they're all talking about it. Well, as of now, Congress has not proposed cuts to Medicaid. And I want to repeat this, please. Congress has not proposed cuts to Medicaid as of now. However, the House recently approved a budget resolution that includes $4.5 trillion in tax cuts and calls for reducing federal spending by up to $2 trillion over the next decade. Now, because Medicaid is one of the largest federal expenses, costing more than $600 billion a year, it is an easy target for budget cuts. And this program, it will most certainly face intense scrutiny in the coming months. I'm going to be sure to keep you updated. How is Medicaid different from Medicare? This is a question that a lot of folks have. I can tell you that years ago, when I ran one of my first companies, I did not have a clue to what Medicare was, let alone the differences between Medicare and Medicaid. So let me explain to you what we know. Medicare is health insurance for Americans 65 and older, regardless of income. Medicaid is primarily for low-income Americans who haven't yet reached retirement age, but some older and disabled individuals qualify for both programs. Could Medicaid cuts affect Obamacare recipients? And the answer, yeah, possibly. When the Affordable Care Act, or known as Obamacare, when it became law in 2010, it expanded Medicaid eligibility, adding about 20 million new enrollees. Now, if Medicaid is cut, those newly covered individuals, many of whom are working age adults with lower incomes, well, yeah, they could possibly lose coverage. I'm not saying they'll lose coverage, only that they could. Now, currently, the federal government pays 90% of the cost for these recipients, making them a potential target for spending reductions. 10 states, including Texas and Florida, don't participate in the expansion. Do Medicare recipients pay anything for coverage? For most, the answer is no. No, they don't. They don't pay anything for coverage. However, some states do require small co-pays for certain services, but federal law mandates that these costs remain minimal to keep care accessible. What happens if Medicaid faces deep cuts? Well, if you're not on Medicaid now, you might not think it affects you, but here's the reality. Many Americans will rely on Medicaid at some point in their lives, whether due to job loss, disability, or needing nursing home care without the personal assets to cover it. For hospitals and healthcare providers, Medicaid, well, Medicaid cuts could mean billions in lost revenue, which might force some to shut down or reduce services. The healthcare sector, which grew significantly due to Medicaid expenses, well, it could see job losses. So here's my final thoughts on why this matters. Medicaid, it's not just a program for other people. It's a vital safety net that millions of Americans, including older adults, might need someday. Now, there was a time many years ago when I was very ill. It was a time that I depended on Medicaid, and I don't know what I would have done without it. But regardless of my stuff, with federal spending under intense scrutiny, it's important for all of us to stay informed about what changes might be coming. Well, that's all I've got for you today, my friends. I want to thank you for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful. I would love to hear your comments. So let me know what you think. There's a comment section. You can also email me if you are so inclined. Now, I also want to mention this. I want to mention that you're invited to sign up for my free breaking news email. It's the best way to stay informed about the news that matters most to you. What I do is I send you essential updates. I send them right to your inbox as the news happens. And you can sign up for my free breaking news email by just clicking on the link in the description box of this video. Also, if you are so inclined, well, then subscribe to Over 50 TV for more retirement tips, Social Security news, and retirement planning. Now, if you want to learn how to earn, if you really want to learn how to earn more money, then you're going to want to subscribe to Side Hustle Rules. That's my other YouTube channel. On that channel, you're going to learn how to earn more by starting a side hustle or a full-time business. Now, as many of you know, I'm the creator and the host of Over 50 TV and also Side Hustle Rules, both YouTube channels. But I've also spent my entire career building businesses. I built a chain of business-to-business magazines from scratch. I launched a weekly newspaper, 2 national trade show companies, a weekly radio program, and almost a dozen other businesses. A few of those businesses, yeah, they generated millions of dollars a year in sales. So subscribe to my Side Hustle Rules YouTube channel if you want to learn how to take charge of your life by building the business of your dreams. Well, as I said, that's all I've got for you today. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. And also consider subscribing to both channels. Subscribe to Side Hustle Rules. And of course, subscribe to Over 50 TV. Well, as I always say, have a great day, everybody.